Friends, today's story is of two such friends whose lives, because of an intoxicating substance, scatter across time, where neither is the mother their own, nor the father, nor is any time right. Friends, first let's meet our two main characters. One is Johnny, a wandering, rude sort of guy who is always doing and calls every other person a snitch, meaning a traitor. And the other is Denise, Johnny's best friend, a bit practical, but just as drowned in this world. Both of their supply has run out, and now they have only one path left, to go to their supplier Cain. But here there's a big problem. Last time Johnny hadn't even paid back the debt to Cain, and Cain is no ordinary man. He punishes his people in such a cruel manner that people tremble on hearing his name. When Johnny and Denise reach him, Johnny directly asked for goods on credit. Cain angrily threatens to harm Johnny because there's no money at all. Just then, Cain puts forward a different offer. He says that he has a job today, a heist, a robbery. If these two do that work, then the entire debt is forgiven. The work is simple. Get into a house, pick up a duffel bag, and exit by the same route you entered. Denise finds all this very suspicious, but Cain holds Johnny personally responsible. Out of compulsion, both are forced to say yes. Then Cain explains to them the details of the whole plan. There's a bathroom window at the back of the house. That's the only route to get in and out. The rest of the whole house is locked and boarded up. On being asked what's in the bag, Cain deflects. But the real warning comes now. Cain says that inside the house they will find shards, meaning a crystal-like substance. And don't even think about using that crystal. He tells a scary rumor. There was a guy who had used that crystal, and after that, he was never seen at all. Later, his friends found his photo in an old history textbook, as if he had gone off into some other era. Friends, this is where the real game begins. Johnny and Denise start to enter the house. The atmosphere inside is utterly creepy. As soon as the two get inside, they see strange things. Human-sized marks on the walls, smeared with a red color. Denise gets scared, but Johnny takes it lightly, saying maybe it was some trapped animal. But everything here is not at all normal. And then they find a woman sleeping inside the house. Her name is Tracy. Johnny and Denise have to pick up the bag quickly, but just then, a big fight breaks out between the two. Denise vents all her frustration on Johnny, calling him a failure again and again, saying that all this trouble is because of Johnny since he's the one who took this job. Then the matter goes even deeper. Denise in anger says that Johnny is not just a failure, but also a snitch, meaning an informer, a traitor. This hits Johnny straight in the heart. Both claim to know each other's deep, dark secrets. And just then, in anger, Johnny ends up making the very mistake that Cain had forbidden. He picks up the crystal and uses it. Friends, big moment. Right before Johnny's eyes, everything changes. He vanishes. That crystal pushes him back in time, and Johnny reaches the year 1995. Denise is left alone in that scary house. She keeps calling out to Johnny, but he is gone. Just then, the sleeping Tracy wakes up. Now Denise is trapped alone in front of a stranger woman. Now the story focuses on Tracy, and an important thing comes to light about her. Tracy is no ordinary woman. She is an ex-undercover cop. She talks to herself, recalls old cases, mutters dates and names, 1993, 1995, syndicates, all of it. It's clear that this woman is mentally disturbed and is running from her past. Then the scene shifts to 1995, where Johnny has reached. Johnny still hasn't understood that he has time traveled. There he meets a young Tracy, but Johnny doesn't know that this is the very same woman. Tracy takes him for a thief, pulls out a gun. From here, the story takes an even bigger twist. Back in the present, before Denise, a future Denise suddenly appears, meaning a future version of Denise herself. This future Denise tells the present Denise that she will just have to trust her. She'll get everyone out of this trouble. She tells Denise to keep the door closed and make sure that Tracy doesn't come. The present Denise can't understand anything. What on earth is happening? So this was the beginning, friends, where a simple robbery turns into such a trap of time travel whose outcome no one can even imagine. She tells the present Denise a strange thing, that even though Johnny may be a failure, when Denise needed someone, he stood by her. And now she is going to repay Johnny's favor. Saying this much, future Denise also uses the crystal and vanishes. Now future Denise reaches the year 2053 into a house that is controlled by an AI. This house talks on its own, and the outside world has been completely destroyed. The house's AI tells her that right now it's the year 2053. Denise asks how she came here, and the AI answers, because of a temporal narcotic, meaning a substance that makes one travel through time. From here, it becomes clear for the first time how this crystal actually works. The AI explains that this substance breaks down a person's body and reassembles it in that time which they were last thinking about. That's why Johnny reached 1995, because before vanishing, he was calling himself Lone Wolf 1995. Denise wants to go outside, but the AI stops her. The outside temperature is 51 degrees Celsius, radiation is at a dangerous level, and there's rioting all around. The world of 2053 has become a hell, and then comes the real owner of the house. Friends, this is no stranger. This is Cain, but a very old future version. The very same Cain who had given them the job at the start. From here, the big twist is revealed. Old Cain reveals that this whole time travel plan was hatched by him. He says that when the crystal brought Denise to him, into his time, that day was for him the day of freedom from his search. Meaning Cain was searching for someone, and that was no one else. It was Denise herself. Cain tells that he had deliberately gone back in time and placed himself in such a position that Denise would become his debtor, meaning the credit for the goods, then that heist. Everything was a carefully thought-out trap, only to bring Denise to him. Denise gets scared, wondering whether Cain has come to harm her. But Cain says a startling thing. He doesn't want to harm Denise, but rather the complete opposite. He wants Denise to stay forever in this house, in this time, with him. Because according to him, Denise is special. This is where Denise understands all those photos of women inside the house. Cain was searching for women everywhere in time, but so far the secret hasn't been revealed of what Cain's relationship with Denise is. Then the scene shifts back to 1995. And friends, now the biggest explosion of the story is about to happen. The present Denise, using the crystal, reaches 1995, where Johnny has already been stuck for months. Seeing Johnny, Denise is stunned. He is in completely different old-fashioned clothes. Johnny angrily tells her that he has been stuck here for months, and the owner of this house, that psycho ex-cop woman, keeps threatening his life all the time. Just then the young Tracy comes there, and as soon as she sees Denise, she says something that shakes the ground. Tracy, seeing Denise, said, "She is my mother." Yes, friends, the present Denise reveals that this young Tracy is her own mother. And then Denise connects another terrifying truth. If this is November 1995, and Tracy is her mother, and Tracy is pregnant at this time, then this means that Johnny is her father. Meaning Johnny has formed a relationship with Tracy in this time, and the child who is coming is Denise herself. So friends, this was the biggest knot of the story. A daughter trapped between her own parents in such a time where she isn't even born yet. Hearing this truth, Johnny's head spins. Tracy is angry that Johnny got her pregnant and now is trying to escape. Denise wants to take both her mother and father back so that everything gets fixed. But just then, Johnny understands another dangerous thing. Johnny realizes that if Tracy is Denise's mother, then Denise has a cop's blood in her, meaning she is half a police officer's offspring. As a wanderer, for Johnny, this is the biggest insult. He says he can't connect with any cop family. He has his own reputation. And this is where Denise spits out the pain of her upbringing. She screams at Johnny that because of this very selfish thinking, she grew up without a father. She calls Johnny such a lowly, always disappearing father who left on the pretext of getting cigarettes and never returned, leaving her and her mother alone. Then the two reveal each other's old secrets. Denise reveals that Johnny had been caught doing graffiti, and to save himself, he had informed on his friend Jazzo, meaning Johnny really is a traitor, a snitch. In return, Johnny also reveals Denise's secret, that Denise had given birth to a child last year, meaning Denise is already the mother of a child. Keep this secret in mind, friends, because a very big meaning is going to come out of it later. Meanwhile, in the middle of the fight, Tracy angrily uses the crystal and suddenly vanishes into a different time, of her own will, to run away. Johnny and Denise are left with nothing. Now a big crisis comes before Denise. She realizes if her mother Tracy goes into a different time and gives birth to her in some other time, then in the present, there will be no one left to give birth to Denise, meaning Denise's own existence will be wiped out. So now the two must shake things up and bring Tracy back into that right time. Denise remembers that she had heard Tracy scream, meaning she figures out which time Tracy has gone into. Just then, Cain returns there, the very same present Cain who is searching for his goods. Johnny now refuses to give the crystal vials to Cain, saying he has a family to raise. Over this, a fierce fight breaks out between Johnny and Cain. And friends, surprisingly, the frail Johnny this time gets the better of Cain and wounds him badly. Even Cain himself admits that he had never seen so much strength in Johnny. Just then, future Denise appears there again. She brings everyone under control with a gun. She orders the present Denise to distribute the vials and tells her clearly that now her job is to bring her mother back. On being asked about Johnny, future Denise says in a cold voice, "He's not coming with you." Then Denise, using the crystal, goes into the time where Tracy has gone. There Tracy is in labor pain. The child is about to come, and that child is Denise herself. Denise requests her mother to use the crystal and go back into the right time, but Tracy flatly refuses. Tracy opens up the pain of her heart. She says that she can't go back into that real life. There Johnny will leave her. There she lives every moment in fear of the Reaper gang coming. She hadn't even wanted the child, but now that there's no escape, she wants her child to at least get a life that isn't wasted. Even if it's this destroyed world, but here she is, at least free. Hearing this, Denise, who herself is that very child, apologizes to her mother. She says sorry for all those years in which she will later hurt Tracy, for all those fights that are coming. This scene is very emotional. A daughter apologizing to her mother, even before birth, for her mistakes. Denise explains to her mother that if she doesn't use the crystal and go back, then Denise will never even get the chance to become better. Finally, Tracy agrees. She uses the crystal and goes back into the right time. So friends, now the mother has gone back. Denise's existence is saved, but the real heart-shaking truth is still left. Now Denise reaches the wounded Cain in that scary house. And from here, the mega twist is revealed. Cain reveals that he has known Denise since when Denise was very little. Denise is stunned. Then Cain tells his whole sad story. He tells that in childhood he used to steal things from his mother to do. One day his mother, screaming in anger, said to him, "How easy my life would be if you just didn't exist." And then that mother left the house, and that very day an old gang member stopped her on the way and took her life. Cain tells that after his mother's death, he felt that his mother's death happened because of him. For years this guilt ate at him, that he himself had lost his mother. And now the biggest truth, this mother was no one else. It was Denise herself. Meaning old Cain is actually Denise's own son. Yes, friends, that very child, which was mentioned before, that very one grew up to become Cain. Denise had abandoned him in childhood, and Cain kept searching for his mother through time for decades. Cain's pain now makes sense. He wanted Denise to stay with him forever so that the two of them could become one family. But Denise explains that no family is made by forcibly holding someone back. Johnny himself too says this thing to Cain's face. Then Cain shows his deepest wound. He tells that Denise had left him on the steps of a church with only a teddy bear, like it happens in some Christmas movie. That one decision left Cain alone his whole life, without anyone. Every Valentine's Day he spent alone, searching for his mother. Cain tells Denise to finish off Johnny, only then will everything be fine. But Denise now has only one way left to save her friend Johnny. Putting a stone on her heart, she lies to Johnny. Denise deliberately says very harsh things to Johnny, that she doesn't want Johnny in her life, that he really is a failure and a traitor, and that he should now leave from here forever. She does this only so that Johnny, using the crystal, will run away into some time where Cain can never find him. This is her attempt to save his life. But Johnny still refuses, saying he won't go. Just then, Cain angrily fires a shot at Johnny, but Johnny is still alive. Drenched in blood, Johnny has finally used the crystal and vanishes into some unknown time where he can get a chance to survive. Denise's heart breaks, but she has saved her friend. And now the last moment of the climax. Denise decides to time travel, taking the wounded Cain, to look after him, to give him a second chance. She asks Cain where to take him, and Cain answers, not where, when. Denise hopes that maybe Cain has changed a little, and Cain says that a few decades do change a person. A daughter, taking her gone-astray son along with her, sets off in search of a better time. So friends, now comes the most beautiful and emotional part of this whole story, Johnny's last letter. In the voiceover, Johnny's written letter is heard, "Dear Denise." He tells that after taking the bullet, the house he reached had a family whose head was a vet, meaning a veterinarian. He himself took the bullet out of Johnny's belly and saved his life. Johnny writes that now he has completely settled in a very old era. He married the daughter of that house's owner, and the whole house became his. Then Johnny shows a very big heart. He writes that he has found out that Cain is Denise's son. So he is leaving all the deeds of his house and land in a trust in Cain's name, so that when Cain grows up and is born in that time, all of it can be of use to him. Johnny jokingly says that his lawyer is calling this madness because Cain will be born only 130 years later. But Johnny doesn't care. This is his way of paying back Cain's old debt. And at the end of the letter, Johnny says the deepest thing in his heart. He writes that now he understands why Denise sent him away. She wanted to fix things. He says that even if the two of them will now never stay together, but whether there's time or not, I'm a part of you. And then in his typical language, he adds that, you're my own offspring after all, mate. Johnny ends his letter with the words that are the heart of the whole film, that now he has enough time to think about the deep philosophy of life. He writes, we really have come a long way from Macca's toilets, saying one last one love to his friend, and signing with his old graffiti name, Pack. Johnny ends his letter. So friends, this was Time Addicts, a story that seems like light comedy from the outside, but from the inside is the tale of a broken family. A daughter who is the result of her parents' mistakes, a son who kept wandering across time in the pain of his mother leaving him, and two friends who, even while fighting and quarreling with each other, laid down their lives for one another. The real message of this film is this: no matter how far back or forward we go, we cannot run from our past, from our people. Whoever we are a part of our relationships, whether there's time or not. And perhaps the hardest thing in life is this: accepting our mistakes and giving our friends and ourselves a second chance. So how did you find this story? Could you, in Denise's place, forgive your son Cain? Do share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next story.